I'm May, Outreach and Education Specialist with Safe Embrace. Welcome back to Spilled Tea, and today we have Jill, who's our social media manager.
Hi, I'm Jill. Today I'm going to be talking about online safety with an emphasis on social media for youth and teens and how you can be on those platforms safely. So I think this is a really important topic because over 50% of kids have social media before they're 12 at this point. So this is a really great way for kids to find things that they're interested in and, maybe connect with others that are on similar platforms for like games or interests like anime or things like that. But it also opens the door for exploitation and predators. So I think it's really important that people have conversations with the youths in their lives, maybe it's their kids, maybe niece and nephew, whatever, about how they can stay safe online.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's very important that we know as adults how to keep our youth and our teens safe. And I think that's part of the problem is that in society today, our friendships look different, our relationships look different, and they're built on online platforms. And I think it's really difficult to navigate as parents as well to help our children with those relationships. So as you mentioned with predators and being victims of exploitation, how do you think that as adults and youth and teens, how can we keep ourselves more safe?
Well, I think if you're, actively posting and engaging on those platforms, you need to have certain safety parameters, like not talking to people that you don't know online. Even if someone pretends to be your age, you never know who they are. They can use fake profile photos. They can, basically manipulate you and groom you to, trust them. And maybe they're giving you excessive compliments or sending you gift cards or game tokens or whatever just to gain your trust. And this can even happen in one sitting. It doesn't have to be a prolonged relationship that's built too.
Well, what kind of advice do you have for maybe these teens, who are like, yeah, I know so and so, they're mutual friends of such and such. Like, do you have any advice for adults and parents who can have a better perspective into their children's lives of who they're talking to?
Yeah, I think having open conversations with your kids about who they're talking to online and monitoring that. Your teen is probably not going to like having their social media monitored, but I think it's really important for parents to look into who their kids are talking to, what they're posting, what conversations they're having in DMs and whatnot, and being able to say like, if you are having access to this platform, you need to do so safely.
Regarding monitoring our children's usage or who they're talking to, do you have any advice for parents on how to monitor their children better?
Yeah, I think, like I said, having open conversations and, physically logging into their social media apps can be good, but there are also parental control apps that you can get on your phone to monitor your teen and kids' social media usage too. So May, I would be really curious to hear your perspective as a mom and also as someone that presents on healthy relationships in schools on how adults can monitor kids on gaming platforms like Roblox or Minecraft where they're actually chatting with people they don't know.
Yeah, you touched on great topics such as having an open conversation, rather than punishing or lecturing. We want to make our children feel safe and that they can trust us with any problems that they ever look forward to come through with any. And then other ways is to like physically sit. So I physically sit with my children, and I ask them, hey, what gaming platform is this? Like, is this Minecraft? Who are you talking to? Do you know them? And if so, like, how do you know them? Because kids I know them, and then it turns out, they're a mutual friend of a mutual friend who lives in a different state. And so we want to really ask thorough questions about who they're talking to, how they met them, have they ever met them in real life. And then with chat rooms like Discord, there's a lot of apps and there's a lot of websites, a lot of online places that we just don't know because, we're busy with work as adults and we just don't keep up with the time. And so we want to really understand and know these online platforms that our children are in and who they're talking to that way. I think it's the best way is just being a hands-on parent. So Jill, what are some things that teens can do to protect themselves from predators online?
Yeah, well, I think as someone that personally enjoys posting about my life, I'm always very careful to not share my location when I'm in that place. So, if I am maybe at Lake Tahoe or something like that, I will not post while I am still there. I wait until I'm in a safe place to post. Never sharing like a street sign of where I live. I don't want anyone to know where I live specifically. I don't want any location markers or anything like that. And I also would recommend turning off location sharing on platforms like Snapchat and Instagram because no one needs to know where you are unless if you're trying to share your location for safety reasons. You should not do that on a social media platform, and that should only be with maybe a parent or a friend that you trust. May, I would be really curious to know like what typical signs you see in predators when you're online, or like signs that you can look out for.
Yeah. So I think that some signs from predators are that they're very, as you mentioned, they're very nice, like they're very giving and generous. So if they're offering to pay for services for you, like getting your nails and your hair done, maybe they're sending you gifts. It's nice to find those kind of people who are generous, but you never know who's at the other side of the screen, right? This could be a 52-year-old man who you're talking to who says that he goes to your school and that he knows your friends, and well, in reality, he's just taking advantage of you and they gain your trust. So maybe they're asking questions like, what time does your parents go to work? Do you live alone at home? Do you have any siblings? Do they work? How old are they? So if someone is asking you very invasive questions and wanting to get to know you, being really nosy, that could mean that they're, trying to receive this information to take advantage of you, to know when your parents aren't home, to find those vulnerabilities and those weaknesses in your lives. Maybe, like to take advantage to build that trust of like, oh, maybe they feel like they're not loved, or maybe they feel neglected, so I can come in and just gain that trust and build that relationship, so that way, when it's time for them to ask for that inappropriate picture, or maybe they ask you to do something that you're uncomfortable with, that you'll do it because you're used to that feeling of like maybe that you are wanted, or that this person really loves you or cares for you in a way that maybe someone else doesn't. And so, yeah, these are just signs to look out for predators, because, when you're talking to someone of your age, that kind of manipulation and tactic isn't really used. And so that is a sign that you're probably talking to someone way older than you who's trying to take advantage of you.
Well, it seems like with online predators specifically, people feel pressure to share those images or information to keep that positive enforcement coming of like, oh, if I don't share this photo or this piece of information, the attention is going to stop. As a parent, what are some signs to look out for in your kids if they are being exploited?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest signs are sudden change in behavior, or like the way they speak. Maybe you're used to your child, behaving a certain way, acting a certain way, speaking a certain way, and if things seem to be a little invasive, maybe they're becoming a little secretive, they're clicking things to minimize tabs, maybe they're hiding their phone when you come in, you ask them who they're talking to and, they don't want to answer, or it's very short and vague. Those are your biggest indicators that maybe they're talking to someone that they shouldn't, or that they have something to hide. So we definitely want to check in with our kids that way. Other signs to look for is if your child is staying in their room a little too much. Maybe they prefer staying there instead of going out. if you invite them to places, like maybe they're turning it down, so you really want to have those conversations like what's going on, why do you prefer to stay indoors instead? And maybe you see things like, I don't know, jewelry, or like maybe they're having like expensive taste, or they come home with items that you didn't purchase for them. And if you ask them, hey, where'd you get this? And they say, oh, a friend gave it to me. Like, we want to ask more questions of like, who's this friend? How could they afford it? Do they have a job? So just asking thorough questions of where they're receiving these gifts from. So if you're seeing things that you didn't buy for them, that could be a red flag that they're speaking to someone who's trying to take advantage of them.
If you do end up sharing an inappropriate picture, what are some venues and resources that people can use to get that picture taken down?
Well, per the Take It Down Act, it is completely illegal for sure to share any inappropriate pictures, especially when it comes to underage minors. So there's a website, Take It Down. So you can go online and just search Take It Down, and you can actually request for your pictures to be taken down from anywhere online. Because with deepfakes and AIs right now, you can do anything with an image, and it's really scary what people are doing. I think that technology has advanced in ways that are very helpful, but in a way are manipulated to where, illegal acts are committed, and online abuse and cyberbullying, and changing these graphics and images of children and, of people. It's really scary what we can do with one picture. So definitely go online and request to take it down.
Yeah, and I think, bringing up AI and deepfakes, that there needs to be more legislation around protecting our images online. And that's also something to know when you are posting online, whether you're a teen or a parent, that your image can be used, not legally, but it can be used for inappropriate content.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why it's so important that we limit what we're posting online and make sure that our children, our teens, and ourselves, that we are safe.